Hi, everybody. What a great day so far. I really appreciate all of the wealth of knowledge that everyone is sharing. And it certainly is leading us all into that understanding of how important collaboration is right now. And as promised yesterday, today we're going to talk with John Banks from Escalent again on the availability of data to help all of this decisioning. And we're going to catch up our time. So we've got about 15 minutes to do that. And John, let's get started.
Very good, Kathryn. Thanks again for inviting all of us from Escalent over yesterday and today. Very excited to talk about data and insights and really a relationship for those of you that don't know. But Escalent and Work Truck Solutions, specifically Kathryn and I and Aaron and others, worked out an arrangement last year for the sharing of data and information. And we've been working on building this portal now for over a year. And so we went through the first four dashboards yesterday. So don't forget, those will be available via video on demand for all those that registered. And today we're going to run through the four at the bottom there: inventory, forecast, sales, and geography. So with that, Kathryn, I'm just going to jump right to the first dashboard. Oh, I guess just in summary again, here, I'll jump to the next dashboard. There we go.
All right.
So, yeah,
So this looks a little simpler than some of the other. In fact, here I am. Yesterday, you were the one session where I needed to put my cheaters on, right? Um,
right, right,
so
right.
walk us through this. This looks a little
Yes.
much more straightforward, right?
So, just to set the stage, if you will, there's a large database of information. And what we've done is we've taken the Work Truck Solutions demand data from their Convoy website, and we have worked as a group to synthesize that into actionable data and also harmonized it by marrying it with our forecast information. We had an acquisition last year of a company called Ryan Associates and their supply forecast, and then with the Work Truck Solutions Convoy demand data, we're able to put that into this incredible new offering, subscription that we are getting ready to launch here. It's available in limited access, so please feel free to reach out to Kathryn or myself, anybody at Work Truck Solutions or Escalent for that matter. And so this slide, this dashboard, as we mentioned in the past, and is customizable. This is for really generating thought, provoking conversations on, well, what are some of the possibilities? So if you notice along the top there, Kathryn, we've got the class, right? So you look at class one, you look all the way out to the tractors at class eight. We focus on the 2B through class eight. There's not a lot of companies that go all the way down to 2B. But this is great information regarding what are different commercial vehicle owners looking for out there. So by class through year to month. So this is through March of this year. The one thing I will mention for those of you trying to grab screenshots is a lot of this data is a mock-up with regards to, again, the conversation starters, if you will.
Thanks for
We do have,
reminding us of that, John.
yeah,
Yeah, what's that thing? Don't use this for decision right now.
right, right,
But this is actually the data around what's actually happened, what acquisitions have been made around
correct,
purchase, correct? So
correct.
that's a good foundation for understanding opportunity.
And you start to see the trends there as well, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at
Mhm.
fuel type, you start to
Yep.
see we've all been talking about infrastructure, we've been talking about alternative propulsions. So when you
Mhm.
start to see it creep in and grow, and then look at the forecast, which we'll look at in a minute here, it really starts to help with some of the validation from a neutral third party, if you will. And so
And I think what
when
you described yesterday is you can click on things and expand them as well,
correct, each one of these you can
export
drill
them.
down,
Yeah.
yes, bring up the tables of the data and so forth. So it's very interactive. It's a big Microsoft Azure cloud-based environment that we're deploying globally. So when you look at chassis type, you look at body type, that information really hasn't been made available, especially when you start to think about the purchasing trends and what was bought. And then you start to apply some of the other analytics as far as, well, where are they? What are some of the characteristics of these upfits? how are they being used, where were they purchased, and so forth. So this is really just kind of the beginning of that conversation, if you will.
Right. And just as a note, yesterday we kind of went through the funnel to get to the purchase. So what's next, John?
So let me just jump over to it. So we've got the inventory view, right? So now we
Right.
kind of understand what people are looking for year to date. Well, what's available? What's out there
Mhm.
today? So we start to look at what upfits. Again, this
So kind of
information.
on hand, right?
Yeah, right. So when
Mhm.
you think about body type, body manufacturer, right down to the specific top 10 models, and there's a long tail on these, obviously, because there's a lot of inventory. Didn't used to be, but obviously inventory levels are growing now, Kathryn, as you've seen.
Yeah.
So when we look at the trailing month, the trailing 6 months, the trailing 12 months, you kind of get a feel really for what's available for customers out there. And this is where when you harmonize the demand with the supply and the allocations that are out there, you can start to make some really informed decisions, not only as an individual fleet manager, as an individual proprietor, but when you look at these fleets and they're trying to purchase and make decisions, they can start to use this type of data to project, well, I know what the build is, I know what the allocation is, what's
Mhm.
available today. Is there a reason for me to do a spot buy versus an allocation that I might have put an order in against?
And
And so when you look,
this includes both.
oh, I lost you there. Say that one more time.
Does this include and used
So
inventory?
this, so this is going to be the inventory that's available through the Convoy website. So
Right. So it includes used as well.
new and used, as you see in
Yes.
the purple area there,
Yeah.
you can see at the very top it says, well, what percent are used vehicles that are available? And you start to look at the mix of new versus used. So
Mhm.
you would think with the supply constraints that we've lived through COVID, you would see these dials as you turn it back in time to see just what happened, where did we come from, and all that data back to 2019, what I like to refer to as the last normal year, as we seek a new normal. You can go through and analyze those trends, those buying behaviors, what the inventory was as well. So you start to see some trends, obviously automatic transmission, very high percentage these days. You would have seen that differently in the past. You start to look at gas, diesel, and hybrid start to show up as a fuel type. And so when you start to look at all the different capabilities, and this is a limited view of the variables that are available, we thought this was a good starting point when we start to look at make, model, trim, chassis, body type, and then just what is the percentage of the inventory that is seen. So and then as we mentioned before, but I'll mention it again across the top. This is not the live portal, obviously. This is just some screenshots we put together. But the segmentation, the fuel type, you can limit the overall session if you want to a very specific category via segment, or even the specific class you might be looking for, or
Right.
a selected fuel if you just want to continue to deal with specifics that'll fit into your existing fleet. So that was pretty much inventory. You want to go to the next one?
Yes, please.
So this is a good one when we start to think about the forecast of, so where are we going, right? So this goes out to, shows here 2030. We actually forecast out to 2034, soon to be 2035. You start to look at current year, previous year, and then all the way out. And you really start to see some of the trends, right? So when you start to see regulatory effects on the forecast, you start to look at down in the bottom, the programs. So for OE suppliers that are quoting on RFQs, am I on these vehicles, and what's going on with these vehicles? Is it a strip chassis? What was it vocationally upfit to do? Did it make it around for a retrofit as well? Because we look at that as well for longevity. And so it's feature rich. You start to get a feel, then you can play with the attributes regarding engine, aspiration, a lot of great info that you can filter on and deep dive into depending on your duty cycle application. And what we're learning is that's very important, right? To match the new technologies with what you need to do on a daily, weekly basis versus just putting diesel in the truck and going ad infinitum. So We are very keen on this forecast with all the different attributes. And as I said, this is really a summary of what we think is interesting to start with, but it's highly customizable. And the power of the demand that Convoy provides with the future view, the supply future view is, again, second to none, really hasn't been brought to market in the past. And we're excited to continue working with you and the team on this.
Well, and I think that the powertrain and the fuel, the ability to look at that specifically in the commercial space, because there's been a lot of talk about how EVs and other adoptions happening on the retail side, but not really on the commercial side. It's being not really tracked very deep, and because of the lack of all of the details about the commercial vehicles. So take us home, John. What's the last one?
So geography, right, plays a role in, well, where's the inventory and where are the people that want to buy that inventory? And so
Mhm.
one of the things that we've been able to work with you on is to build out this geographic view of where is the inventory. As you see at the bottom, the legend there highlights potential cases of over inventory. So the darker the color, there's an abundance apparently in Wyoming of vehicles that
It's
need to
probably a
be.
it's probably per capita calculated or something like that too, I would think, right?
Well, that's the interesting thing is that we can configure this
Mhm.
as needed depending on what the requirements are. So in this
Mhm.
case, it shows which OEMs have a high level of new and used vehicles available in inventory nationally.
Mhm.
You start to look at the chassis that are out there. You start to look at the upfits that are available. As we've always thought, Kathryn, making an informed decision based on data is way better than putting your finger up in the wind and hoping the breeze blows the right way, right?
That's right.
So when we start to think about the filtering of the specific fleets and the makeup of those fleets, depending on how they're set up for these different alternative propulsions, knowing that there'll be stopgap technologies that will be used, as well as whatever the end game will be. And as you and I know, even just from last week's show, that there's a lot of hydrogen ice that's showing up, CNG, RNG. So there's all these different capabilities. And so what we're doing here is showing, well, where is this inventory? And you could obviously do it by fuel type as well to see what's available. And as that inventory grows, it'll really help locate product and see also where the use is as well. We have access to that info.
Lots to absorb. Like you said, I understand it's very customizable, and especially right now because you're building the portal's built, the data's there, the information's available, but it's not open for open subscription yet, and that's probably a month or two away. Correct, John? Somewhere in the a few months away, shall we say?
Yeah, we're piloting it right now. So anybody who wants to engage with
Ah,
us right now, yeah, we would definitely have those conversations, and whether it's an early on board or a pilot. But we're very excited. Like I said, we've been working on this for over a year now, a year and a half actually, and we feel very comfortable on working with your team and synthesizing the information, and then adding additional data sets to this as well. So once you lock into the portal, there'll be a lot more of additional layers, if you will, that will complement what everybody's trying to do, which is to figure out what to do today and what to do tomorrow.
well, I love data. I love visualization of data.
Right.
What we've all, at Work Truck Solutions, a couple years ago we launched what we call CBI, Commercial Business Intelligence, for our dealers, which was a
Yeah.
way to embed visualization of their operations into their platform. So I can see this continuing to help all the stakeholders that are in the ecosystem in the industry. And you mentioned a few of them, but I can't imagine anybody in the ecosystem that wouldn't want to know more and to see more about what affects them. And that's what's so great about it being customizable. So, John, I really appreciate that. I know that We're getting ready now to go off into the networking. We've got about 15, a little less than 15 minutes. Please, I strongly recommend that you go try that little 5-minute speed dating with folks that have joined us today. And I'll be over there and I'll see you. Thanks, John.
Thank you.